Hello, I'm ABXToyCam, welcome back to another video. Today we're going through the hardest blocks to get in survival. This is something a lot of you have been requesting over the past few weeks, and it's something I would figure I'd do because some of you might want to know which blocks you should be the most proud of, or you might want to know which blocks would make the hardest to make house, or something like that. Either way, I figured it'd be cool to go through them, so hopefully you do enjoy the video. If you do like it, please do like it and let me know because it helps out the channel a lot, and let's know you do like these sorts of videos. Anyway, with that said, let's get straight into it. My voice is going to be slightly worse today because I'm still with the whole tonsil thing, but it's going to be fine. I'll eat some ice cream afterwards, and maybe you should do the same. It's always a good thing to eat regardless of the time of day. Anyway, with that said, let's get straight into it, and let's start with the 7th, because this is a top 7 video, because just reasons and stuff, and the 7th hardest block to get in survival is going to have to be Obsidian. So, why is Obsidian the hardest block to get in survival? When it spawns so often, and when you can even create it yourself by just using 2 buckets in a pretty easy way, really easily. So the reason that, of course, Obsidian is such a hard block to get in survival is because, again, finding it's really easy. You find water on top of lava, it just happens all the time. Even creating it's really easy, but actually getting it is not, because not only do you need to then find it and find it in a safe place, make sure there's no zombies and stuff around that knock you into it, you need to then get a diamond pickaxe, which takes at least 3 diamonds of course, and then you need to mine it, which takes, even with a diamond pickaxe, 9 seconds, and that's after they've improved it time after time after again. It used to be a lot longer to actually mine the Obsidian, which is the longest of any reasonable block in the game that you actually get back, which is just so long to go through for a single block. And this means if you want, let's say, 6 of it, because, I don't know, you want to build, well, you can build out 6, like a hexagon shape, then you'd have to spend a full minute doing this. And if you want to spend a full minute mining, you have to be so certain it's safe. You have to cover the area in torches so that you can guarantee nothing spawning. And even then, you might want to take a cursory glance around for a few seconds because you never know what's going to go wrong. So just as a fun fact, while we're talking about Obsidian anyway, because again, it's the longest mine block you can actually get, just in case you ever do need to mine Obsidian without actually getting the block back, you don't care about getting the block back, but you need to mine this block. If you use your fist, it'll take you 250 seconds, even longer if you're underneath water, to actually mine the block, so please never do that. If you use a different type of pickaxe, it can be as short as 60 seconds, but if you use a gold pickaxe, for whatever reason that is, you can actually mine Obsidian in as little as 20 seconds, which 20 seconds seems like it's still a really long time, but compared to 250 seconds of your fist is, I'd say that's a nice improvement. So yeah, if you ever need to mine for Obsidian, you don't have any diamonds, you could use a gold pickaxe in case that's something that might appeals to you. So yeah, that's a little pro tip right there. Let me show you that this does happen like that. And boom, let's move on to number 6, shall we? So number 7, hardest block to get in survival, is going to have to be Obsidian. Number 6, though, is a little bit harder because it's not just based on finding 2 very common things together and then going for a bit of effort to get them. It's about finding a block that's really, or finding something that's really uncommon in survival, and that is an ocean monument. So let's go through my, my fake ocean monument here. Do you like it? It's really convincing. I'd like to believe it's like a real one. But yeah, this is my simulation of an ocean monument, and to get into an ocean monument, it's kind of tricky by itself. You have to get through the guardians, you have to find a way to breathe underwater, which I've shown is pretty easy. All you have to do is do something like this. Because these are sponges placed before sponges did anything, I guess I just made them wet. Oops. Well, either way, you have to find some sponges, you have to breathe underwater, you have to do all that sort of stuff, but that's not even it, because finding sponges is actually kind of tricky. You have to navigate the whole ocean monument, but first you have to kill 3 Elder Guardians. If you don't kill the Elder Guardians, you'll have massive fatigue, and you won't even be able to mine the block. So yeah, you have to kill 3 Elder Guardians, which is kind of tricky, I'd say so anyway, at least going around the whole thing killing 3 of them. You have to breathe the whole time while doing that, avoid their attacks, make sure you can heal, do all that sort of stuff, and then find these sponges, and then you have to mine a sponge, which is going to be a lot easier now there's no water around, but then you have to mine a sponge, and because it's going to be a wet sponge, because they all spawn underwater, you have to take it to a furnace, take it out of the furnace, and then, boom, you got yourself a single sponge. You have to go do that again, do it for all of them, and although the sponge is really valuable, that is a lot of effort, and that's the reason that even though, the update's been out for a lot of time, a lot of people still don't have sponges, because, just finding the ocean, doing all that sort of stuff, is something that's kind of tricky, and it's rare in a lot of ways, as well as being hard to get, and that's why having sponges is something you can be very proud of if you've got it in survival. So yeah, that is why sponges are number 6 on this list. Number 5 on the list, though, is something which is, yeah, I guess a little bit more on the natural progression of things, because it's to do with my an end portal. So again, very convincing end portal here, right? But yeah, number 5 on this list is going to have to be endstone. So endstone requires that you get 12 IF enders, which technically doesn't actually require any kills. But yeah, it requires that you get the 12 IF enders. You have to find your stronghold. Then you have to go through the end portal. You have to mine yourself some endstone, which it's one of the longest blocks in the game to mine. Fun fact, by the way, endstone is actually the exact same block as cobblestone, just with a different negative. I'll try and show you that at some point. But yeah, basically, endstone and endstone is something you have to mine, and then you can't actually get endstone back to the overworld until you kill the end dragon, because otherwise there's no way back to the overworld. There's one exception to this rule using the end chest, but let's pretend you didn't hear that. Then without knowing that, then all you have to do, all you can do is you have to kill the end dragon, which is pretty insane when you think about it. The fact that you have to go ahead and get to the stronghold, then you have to get all the earthbenders, then you have to potentially kill the end dragon, or I guess technically not. Still, lots of stuff to do, and that's why I'd say that it's number 5 on this list. Number 4 on this list, though, is one that's arguably not even a full block. I mean, you can count this or you can not count this if you want to, but it's going to be the Wither Skeleton Skull. So the Wither Skeleton Skull is one that it could be a lot easier to get for some people, but when you, it's one of those things where it's for most things a probability, where when you really want something that's really rare, it seems to show up a lot less often. So a Wither Skeleton Skull is a 1 in 40 drop possibility from a Wither Skeleton, which doesn't seem too bad at first, like 1 in 40, we'll just keep on killing them, but, because that can be, that 1 in 40 chance could literally mean you kill 1,000 Wither Skeletons without getting one. These are some of the hardest blocks to get in survival when you're looking for them, especially given that Wither Skeletons have some of the most annoying attacks, and can be some of the most aggressive mobs and stuff. So, yeah, getting a Wither Skeleton Skull in survival is pretty darn tricky, and that's why it's number 4 on the list, because, odds and probabilities are pretty hard, plus the fact that you have to go to the Nether to do it anyway, which for most people is an easy task. Then you have to kill at least 40 Wither Skeletons, I mean, on average anyway. Lots and lots of work goes into this one, and the probability thing is the part that can really kill you when it comes to that. So, speaking of probability really killing you when it comes to hard blocks in survival, that was a segue, right? But anyway, with that said, the third hardest block to get in survival is the diamond block. So I made this illustration here in case it wasn't clear that 9 diamonds equals 1 diamond block. So the thing about this is it's necessarily getting 9 diamonds isn't too amazingly hard. Like, if you know the perfect technique, then you can get a diamond vein every 15 to 20 minutes. But when you bear in mind that an average diamond vein is, I think it's like 3.75 blocks, or 4 blocks, let's just say, that means that you have to find 3 diamond veins to actually get this, and that's if you don't make anything from diamonds first. So again, each of those can take 15 to 20 minutes if you've got the perfect technique down. That means you're still spending close to an hour of just non-stop mining time just to make a single one of these blocks. And then bear in mind that just having one of these blocks, or even having lots of diamonds, doesn't make the process a whole bunch easier. If you want to build any decent number of these, it just stacks up in hours. Unlike endstone, which when you get your first one off, you get a whole bunch of them off. Having the diamond block just goes up and up and up and up. And again, if you want to have 100 diamond blocks, you're probably spending close to 100 hours. I mean, not exactly, because the time's a little bit like that, but still, you're spending a very long time to get lots of diamond blocks. And if you want diamond blocks in a particular type of build, you better only want 1 or 2 or 3, or you're going to spend a lot of time underground mining, or realistically you're going to do something else to get them. But still, that's why diamond blocks are one of the hardest blocks to get in survival. I think they're really cool, and you just don't really see them very often because people aren't willing to go through that. But I wish there was some actual use for using a single diamond block, but maybe that's just me. So with that said, let's move to another world so I can show you the second hardest block to get in survival. Okay, so I'm here in the end of a different world, actually. There's a whole story behind why that is. I've explained the whole Thousand and Dragons thing before. But yeah, I'm here in the end to actually show you the second hardest block to get in survival, because of course it involves the End Dragon, which should make that obvious to a lot of you. But in case it's not, in case you don't know, the Ender Dragon is actually a female. Her name is Jean, I believe, officially. And as a result of her being a female, when you kill her, there's more than just a couple of things that happen. Most people are focused on the XP that goes everywhere and the cool animation stuff. But one of the other side effects is the fact that an actual item drops. So again, most people are so focused on just all the cool things that are happening, and look, it is one of the coolest animations in the game, especially in the end. All the XP's flowing out, you just get all of that, and you hold in the portal, but an actual block comes out too. This is the Ender Dragon Egg, and although if you've been playing Minecraft a lot, and most of you who watch my channel have, a lot of people don't even know about the Ender Dragon Egg, and for the longest time, I didn't know about it. Like, someone had to convince me, like, oh, by the way, that's a block you can actually get. I thought it was just a decoration on the end, because if you actually right trigger this, or you left trigger it, does the same thing, you actually move the Ender Dragon Egg, and there's no way to just pick it up like this. You can try and break it, but it's just not going to do anything. What you have to do instead is you have to get it kind of like you'd get something that falls. So you can use a piston to get it. That's a way a lot of people like to use, but my favorite way, because it's slightly easier, is to go underneath it and do this. So yeah, to get the Ender Dragon Egg, by the way, it doesn't just mean you have to, know how to use the torch, which is, by the way, or know that it exists and then use the torch method, or, darn it. You have to know how, you have to know that it exists. You then have to know the method to get it, which, if you haven't watched the video or something like that, it is kind of bizarre. Like, you might not be necessarily familiar with the fact that you have to do something weird like this. But yeah, okay, there, like that, we've got the dragon egg. So, but to even get to access the dragon egg, you have to kill the ender dragon. And to be able to kill the ender dragon, you have to have all the tools to kill the ender dragon, and you have to go through the end portal, which means you need 12 IF enders, which means you need to have found the stronghold already, and just all those prerequisites for getting the ender dragon egg, and the fact that there's only a single one of them, make it the second hardest block to get in survival, I think. And it's because it's a survival exclusive block, it makes it even cooler, and an even better way of just showing off, like, oh yeah, look, I did this thing, I think it's pretty cool, hopefully you all do too. So yeah, that's the dragon egg right there. You can place it down again and have the fun of it again. Only one of these is obtainable in survival per world, and I think that makes it a very cool, unique block. It's going to have a function at some point in the future. They haven't confirmed, but right now, it's just the black and purple weird, one-of-a-kind block in the world. So with that said, let's move on to the very hardest block to get in survival, which I think most of you could have guessed, and if you can't already, it's in my inventory right now, because it is the beacon block. So the beacon block is, in fact, the very hardest block to get in survival, because of the fact that it's not just, a single difficulty thing, it's lots and lots of layers of difficulty piled together. So first of all, you need 3 obsidian, which is a small thing, it's 3 obsidian, 5 glass, and a wither star, but the wither star is what requires so much effort, because to get a wither star, or a nether star, or a wither star, I always get those two names mixed up, but to get that star, you actually have to kill the wither. The wither is an even harder boss to kill than the ender dragon, most people would say, and even with the very best stuff, it's still a pretty difficult fight, but then to even spawn the wither, to even have the chance of killing the wither, you need to get 3 of these wither skeleton skulls from earlier. So 2 of the other blocks on this, on this list are required just to get this single one. Plus, on top of that, to have a functioning beacon, you need to have some blocks of one form of solid thing, which could be diamond, and you can make that free, or you can just use it like this. And to me, that just sounds like one of the coolest things in the game. It's a block that really is there for rewarding people who have gone through a lot of stuff in survival. And I think if you really like survival, and if you like just showing off your accomplishments, which is honestly something I find quite fun, then making yourself a beacon is something that you really should have done by now. So yeah, that's the beacon. They can be made in the end, as it so turns out, and I don't know why I'd recommend doing it here, but you could totally do that if you wanted to. And yeah, the beacon block is the hardest block to get in survival. I think it's pretty darn awesome for a lot of reasons, and yeah, hopefully you all thought this video was too. With that said, if you did like it and let me know, share who you liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Let me know in the comments down below if you think any blocks are harder to get than these, because I'm pretty sure this is the right one, but I'm always curious when people are like, oh, I think the red flower block is harder, because, I don't know, flower forests are dangerous or something. Let me know what your opinions are in the comments down below. But yeah, besides that, I hope you all enjoyed it, because I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!